In this video, I'm going to walk you through installing and configuring Site Recovery Manager and vSphere Replication. I've sped this video up so that what took me an hour and 2 minutes only takes about 9 minutes to watch. We're going to start with deploying the vSphere Replication OVFs to both vCenters. And this is a standard OVF deployment. Name, placement, config type, resource pool, storage placement, port groups, allocation types, all the standard stuff that you're used to when deploying any kind of an OVF. And all of this is documented in the vSphere Replication documentation, so nothing here that is different or should be surprising or unusual. And it took me about 4 minutes to get both of those deployed. Now I'm just putting in the IP addresses for the two of those so that we can keep refreshing those pages while we're doing some other stuff and just keeping an eye on that. So navigating over to my two SRM servers and kicking off the installs there. Stuff's not quite working on those vSphere Replication appliances. We see they are booting up fine. It takes them a while, that first boot up, to get up and going, and we're kind of moving fast. So first things that we have to do in our SRM install, figure out what platform services controller we're going to have SRM connect to. Just typed the wrong password there, so nothing too exciting. Still waiting on those VR appliances, and we're about 10 minutes in. So our VR appliances are now ready to go, able to log into both of those. And we're going to just change that lookup service thing to the PSC. If you have external PSCs, that's something that you're going to want to pay attention to. And then just save and restart those services on both of those VR appliances. That's going to take just a little while, but as soon as that's done, and in the meantime, here I'm logging out of my web clients so that we can make sure that those vSphere Replication plugins show up, and there they are. So we've got both of those appliances registered, and we're about 14 minutes in. So now we're going to get those two sites paired up. So get that PSC info typed in. Get those two registered with each other, and now we're ready to start replicating VMs. So I'm going to go through and pick a whole bunch of my VMs, get those configured for replication, pick where I want all of them to be replicated to, struggle a bit with my window placement in this resolution, set my RPO and whatever else I wanted to set, and there you go. We're about 23 minutes in, and we've got all of our VMs replicating. So now we're going to finish off the installation of Site Recovery Manager. You'll notice I ran into a problem here with my time sync. Had some issues with my NTP services. I did fix them after the fact, but I worked through that during this install just by changing the time manually. And you'll see I'm just doing the exact same thing on two different servers, kind of switching back and forth as each one of them works through. And I'm using the embedded database on both of these. The embedded database is something new to SRM 5.8 and later, and it just makes it that much easier to get SRM set up and configured because you don't have to deal with interacting or involving your DBA or licenses for SQL or anything like that. So you can see that our initial full sync is now complete. We're about 30 minutes in. And we're going to log out of both of those web clients. And just note that the clock difference showing less time on the SRM servers is because of me setting the clock back during the install. And that doesn't show on the machine where I'm running the web clients, as I didn't change that. Okay, so logging back into the web clients. And now we're going to configure get our SRAs installed on our two SRM servers. And that's a really simple process. Run the executable, couple of options, click finish. So SRAs are done. We're about 36 minutes in. And I realized that these 4 VMs that I've got here actually did not need to be replicated because they are on array-based replication, so I had to unconfigure that. That's one of a number of different little mistakes that I made during this install. Just kind of the standard way that an install goes. Usually you're going to forget something, not get something set up quite the way that you expected it to, but I'm fumbling around a bit with the window size. I finally just got rid of the task manager, and unfortunately that means I also got rid of the clock, so you're just going to have to trust me that this did take the amount of time that I said it did. So getting those SRAs connected and installed just requires doing that little refresh. And then once we've got both of them SRM aware of both of them, then we're just going to configure those. Now this is using the NetApp SRA. There is nothing particular about NetApp. I just use that because that's what I have access to currently. Most SRA installs are going to be similar. You're going to put in an IP address, you're going to put in username and password, maybe some exclusions, things like that. We're going to go through and do mappings now. And you'll see that I'm using the automated mappings, so it automatically maps those out for me. I don't have to select what mappings I want. I just select the higher level thing, and then it maps everything out underneath that. And then the reverse mappings are similarly easy, where I just check a box and select all of them to do a reverse mapping, and I'm good to go there. Did the same thing for folders and resources. Need to configure our placeholder data store, so that's just a small data store where we're going to store our placeholder files, placeholder VMs, and the files for those. And now I'm starting to configure my protection groups. So got that one configured for ERP. And here's where I ran into another problem, which was I actually accidentally configured vSphere Replication for a VM that I didn't need to. So that finance VM, I need to, finance protection group, I have to delete that, go back in, and I also realized that I forgot to replicate two of my VMs, these HR VMs. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to replicate these two HR VMs, get those started on the process of replicating, and then I'm going to find that one VM that has a finance in its name, but I didn't really mean to replicate, pull that out, add those other finance VMs to the protection group, keep moving along, create my portal protection group. Now I'm going to start configuring recovery plans. So I want one recovery plan that's going to include everything in my site. I'm going to create another recovery plan that's just for my finance VMs. I'm going to create another one just for my ERP VMs. And now I'm going to, within the ERP protection group, I'm going to go through and change some of the priority groups, adjust those so that my ERP application starts up exactly the way that I want, creating a protection group for my HR app, and adding that to my full site recovery plan. And at this point, I am done. I have fully configured vSphere Replication and Site Recovery Manager, and I'm ready to start testing and running recovery plans, all in less than 1 hour and 2 minutes. Thanks for watching.